I'm surprised Nintendo didn't put this one behind the paywall. Nintendo once again graced us with another Direct, and this one was a very interesting one in the sense that it was kind of like two Directs like mashed together. We started off with like a Mario 40th anniversary Direct, and then it kind of bled into like a normal Nintendo Direct with like a bunch of like other game reveals and further information on existing titles. So we're going to go through the whole thing. We're going to just talk about some of the key points from each section, and I'll give my final thoughts on it. But yeah, opening up with the Mario 40th anniversary made me realize just how old I am. I'm not the same age as Mario in this respect, but not far off. So the very first thing that we saw was a first look at the new Super Mario Galaxy movie, which is pretty cool to see that they're going in this direction with it. Personally, I would have loved them to go down more of like a Yoshi's Island route with it, because that sort of area of Mario was a lot more special for me. However, I do realize that the younger generation now, like Mario Galaxy was probably like one of their first titles, so I can respect that the Mario Galaxy titles are pretty special as well for what they were doing for the franchise at the time and how they utilized like the Wii and Wii U stuff to actually make them really good titles. Nintendo didn't just talk about the movie that they were going to release, they also showed off that Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2 are coming to the Nintendo Switch in a double pack. Now, for those of you who are lucky enough to have like the Mario 3D All-Stars collection where you had Mario Galaxy in there, and that still works on your Switch 1, but now we're getting Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2 in their own sort of pack, and from what I can tell, this isn't like a limited edition thing. And for the first time now, you can actually buy Galaxy online as well. You can buy it on the eShop. That's where the first sort of interesting take comes in here, because Nintendo want £40 for it. They want £40 for both Mario Galaxy and Galaxy 2 individually, which would mean to get both of them is 80 quid. But then also, if you can buy a double pack, like the physical one, it's like 70 something, so you do save a little bit of money there for it. But these games are old, really old. And it's not as if they're getting like spruced up or anything. They're just the same game. That's expensive. That is ridiculous. 20 quid for the whole pack, great. But this is just lunacy. I'm sorry, I cannot support that choice, all right? So for a while, people have been wondering, would Mario Bros. Wonder be actually getting an update for the Switch 2? And it turns out it is, with Mario Bros. Wonder Switch 2 Edition, plus Meet Up in Bella Bell Park. Seriously, like, I always mention this, but these names are just stupid. Like, that is just way too much to say. However, this is going to be one of those updates where it looks like it's going to be a paid-for one, because they're bundling in this Meetup in Bella Bell Park, which kind of looks like this co-op multiplayer type stuff that you can do with people. It looks interesting, but if you're someone who plays Mario games like on your own, like I am, then that is not really something I really care about, because I just want to have more of that Mario content. And Mario Bros. Wonder is a really, really good game, really great, really fun. And I would have liked to have a Switch 2 edition where I didn't have to fork out extra because you kind of justifying this like add-on. I get it, and I can still play Mario Bros. Wonder on my Switch 2, I know. But I don't think there's going to be an update for it which just lets the first game run better. I think if you're going to want to play this like new version of it, you're going to have to like pay up for it. They haven't mentioned if it's part of the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack like membership, but I can't see it happening because Mario Party Jamboree and like the extra stuff that came for that you had to pay for, so I can't really see them throwing this in for free. And Mario Tennis returned with Mario Tennis Fever as well, which kind of looks like it puts a bit more personality in the game, shall we say, than previous titles have. Kind of leaning into the whole sort of off-the-wall wacky aesthetic of Mario and like trying to make it a bit more of a fun game as opposed to a bit more serious. Quite like the idea of it, however, I can't see me going like full hog into this because I've been burned in the past by Mario Tennis games. I don't really want to fork out for this one. However, it looks like it's gonna be quite fun, like the way that it like interacts with like the court and like the different skills that you can use on it and the different like items and abilities you have. Makes it feel more like Mario Tennis and Super Smash Bros. As opposed to like just a tennis game. And then there was a title which I was kind of like, okay, this is my jam. And that was Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. And I initially thought, cool, this is going to be like a really fun looking like Yoshi's Island, Yoshi's game. Like the art style is incredible, it's cute, it's like this old sort of like claymation, stop motion style stuff, which you know I'm a big fan of. And I've played Yoshi games for years, like Yoshi's Island on the SNES, like the Yoshi game on the N64, Yoshi games on like all the other consoles. Like I love them, absolutely love them. Even though they are quite simplistic, I do love them. Like, I just find them really cute and really over the top. But this looks like it might be a little bit too easy. Kind of gives me the feeling like it's kind of like a adventure game aimed more at the younger audience. kind of like you're going through this book and you're like filling out these pages with like all these like things that you find. It's not going to really be like the platforming that I kind of expect to see on there, which is a little bit of a letdown. And I don't want to say I'm dismissing it straight away, because I do want to see more about it. I haven't got the highest of hopes right now. However, that art style is absolutely incredible, and I am here for more of that. And that's like the 40th anniversary stuff all like summed up. And I'm a little bit disappointed with it. We didn't get any like big new Mario game announcement. Like, yeah, there's that Yoshi game, and yeah, there's Mario Tennis, but there's no Mario game. Like, there's no Odyssey 2. There's no like any of that. Like, just a hint of what is coming out next would be great. It's just remakes and redos and add-ons and a continuation of the sport titles, which are just, they don't really do anything for me or a lot of people, I don't think. But yeah, that was the 40th anniversary stuff. Oh, the other cool thing was this little like flower thing that speaks to you, like this pot thing from the flowers from Mario Wonder. Yeah, I might want one then. But then we got into the actual direct, and Stormlance was the first thing that we saw. This like couch co-op side-scrolling action-adventure beat-em-up style game, which, like, I think I've said those words like so many times recently. I get it, like they're fun titles and stuff, but there's so many of them out there now that this kind of played out, and I'm kind of bored of it. Like, I'm kind of bored of seeing this stuff. But that said, Stormlancers does look fun. Like, the aesthetic is really cool, like this 80s like sci-fi adventure stuff, but I think the genre itself is kind of a bit played out at the moment. But then we had Dinkum, which is like a Australian-inspired Minecraft-like game, and it looks pretty basic, pretty underwhelming. I'm not someone that enjoys like Minecraft-style games in the first place. This does not look like it appeals to me whatsoever. If that's your jam, then cool, but it just looks rough, like really rough around the edges. We then got another look at Pokémon, and I've mentioned this before because it did turn up in a previous direct, but it's kind of like a split fiction kind of Splatoon adventure game kind of thing. It looks like if you've got a good group of friends to play with, you can have a laugh with it, but for a single person or single player experience, I don't really think it's going to be there. But yeah, it looks like a fun like multiplayer game. It's just not something that's gripping me. We then got a look at Tamagotchi Life, which again has been delayed for so long now. It's apparently coming out next year in spring now, so we've got like a rough idea of when it's going to come out. I don't know if anyone is so excited for this. I know it's like something which had like a cult following previously, but nowadays I don't know if the pull is still there for it. I really am out of the loop on Tamagotchi stuff, so if I am wrong, by all means, please educate me in the comments below and let me know. You usually let me know when I'm wrong anyway, but it just doesn't look like something that appeals for me, and it's kind of like just a bit meh. A Final Fantasy VII Remake was then shown again, which is, you know, it's really cool that it's coming over, and that is a game which a lot of people never thought they would see on a Nintendo platform, because of all the history with Square and Sony and Nintendo in general, and how that game originally was not released on the Nintendo platform. It's really, really cool, as someone who's got nostalgia for all that time, to see it come over. And the fact that it's going to probably mean that all three of the games will be coming over is really cool as well. It's really nice that Nintendo fans are going to be able to experience this game. It's a really interesting technical marvel. I just kind of want it to be out now. And after that, we saw another look at Linked Banner of the Spark, a game again which was previously covered when it showed up. And it's just, it looks like a really fun game. It looks really cool, really interesting, but there's nothing that's really gripping me here so far with this direct. Like, so far it's just kind of been a bit like games we either knew about, or games which were announced previously that weren't exactly big pulls. Ironically though, the next game was Hades 2. So yeah, take back what I said. This game looks like, it looks absolutely class. Like, Hades was amazing. All the Supergiants games have been really good stuff. Like, Bastion for me is one of my favorite games of all time. And this just carries on with that whole thing. Like, the whole aesthetic looks awesome. The gameplay is going to be tight. I'm really excited for this one. This is going to be a good one. Then Nintendo showed off some Kirby Air Riders amiibos, because apparently they needed them. But hey, look, you know, I know people out there love amiibos. If you can love Funko Pops, you can love amiibos. Okay, if anything, I prefer people to love amiibos over Funko Pops, but hey, that's a personal preference, all right? I'm not coming for you, Funko community. All right. Apparently these are really expensive as well. Like, I think the price has gone up like quite a bit on amiibos lately. I've only got like one, I think. I think I got given King K. Rool years ago by someone I used to work with. That's the only amiibo I have. Fun fact, you can just buy NFC tags off eBay and program them to have all the same effects as the amiibos. But we then got more information about Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Again, I'm not a fan of the Hyrule Warriors games. I wasn't a fan of the Dynasty Warriors games. I've got like Hyrule Warriors on my Switch. Like I wanted to love it. I just couldn't get into it. Like I know it's not for everyone, and I don't know what the lore of these games is. Like the original one, the lore was kind of like it's its own little thing. I don't know how well or how important the story of these games is to the story of Zelda in general now. So if someone wants to educate me, then please feel free. But I don't know if this is actually something I need to play to understand this. I mean, I'll watch the videos online of all the cutscenes to get the story. That's by the by. But I don't know if this is going to be something which is going to tie in as canon now. Because the first one, I think that there was a time travel thing in it. I don't know what's going on there. One thing I will say though is this game looks very pretty. It looks like it's going to run flawlessly on the Switch 2. I say looks like because we're watching a trailer. We don't know how well it actually will perform, but I'm really hoping that it kind of does live up to the expectations that we all have of it now, because those games do really push the systems with the amount of stuff that is on the screen. There's a really cute trailer then for Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, which I will give it this, like the art style in this game looks incredible. I think I'm just a sucker for good art at this point. I'm not a huge Dragon Quest fan. I've got Dragon Quest XI that I still need to finish, but I never really got into the series before that. But I can definitely see the appeal. This game looks like it's going to be a really fun game, if that's your bag. Just from the graphics side of it, it looks incredible. So yeah, if you're a fan of the Dragon Quest series, then you're going to have something here to check out. And if you have played the original, then how about a trip down memory lane, eh? I don't think anyone saw this next announcement coming. But coming to the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack is Virtual Boy games. That's incredible. Like, that is amazing. That is like, there's like 14 games I think that were ever made for that console. If you don't know anything about the Virtual Boy, please go look it up, because there is so much history there, and it is such a sad thing that happened. Nintendo really wanted to push the boat, and they really messed up, making people physically sick to some extent. It looks like it's going to be a bit of a laugh. You do need to buy an accessory to play these games though. So on top of paying for your Nintendo Switch 2, on top of paying for your online expansion pack, and then you've got to pay like 67 quid for the replica like Virtual Boy, or like 20 quid for the fold out one. That's a lot. That's a bit cheeky. Like, I can still play all the Nintendo like Entertainment System games, the SNES, the N64 games, the GameCube games without needing my like actual controllers for it. Whereas this, I do need to have the headset or something to do it with. Like, I have to pay to enjoy these. That's another bit of a naughty there, Nintendo. That's not nice. We had another look at Fatal Frame 2, which again, horror game. Me. Not playing. Simple as that. Especially as it's Japanese horror as well. It looks really scary and really creepy. And I've never wanted to play those games because I am too terrified. Simple as that. I have no more comments to say on Fatal Frame 2. There was then a scissor reel of games which are coming out for the Switch 2 or getting Switch 2 upgrades, and Overcooked was in there, Stardew Valley's getting mouse support. They didn't really spend too much time talking about any of this, but then they did follow it up with Power Wash Simulator 2, which was a game that I didn't really think like about, if I'm honest. But it kind of does make sense on the Switch 2, especially if they bring in some form of like mouse controls or like motion controls with it. Like, that could be a good laugh. It's not something I'm going to be picking up. I'm more of a lawnmower simulator guy myself, if I'm honest. Suika Game Planet was next. I think my expression just kind of sums up that. Like, I got a bit more time than I thought it was going to get. It just looks like a really cute puzzle game, but aside from that, it just doesn't really look like anything else. I really hope that's not an expensive release, but yeah, bit of a weird one there, I won't lie. My old ass thought this next game was actually an Extreme G game that was coming out. If you remember Extreme G, then congratulations. If you don't, they were really good racing games on the N64. Really fun, really futuristic. And that's what I thought I was looking at here. But it's not. It's Metroid Prime 4. We did get a release date of it, which is cool. But the gameplay they showed looked really weird. It looked really, really rough. Like, the open world section they saw, I say open, well, the open air section anyway that they showed was barren. Like, I wouldn't show that off. That's not something to be proud of. Like, it looked really weird. I don't want to crap on this game because it's not out yet, and I know it's been like long awaited for such a long time, but this looks really weird and really poor, and it's kind of diminished a little bit of the excitement that I might have had for it because it just looks a bit naff. Like, the open world section, the motorbike section, like, what was that all about? I don't know what they're playing at. I just want this game out now. Oh. I'm gonna sit forward for this one because I am annoyed at this one. So we had an announcement of DLC for Donkey Kong Bananza. I don't mind that. That's absolutely fine if you want to bring some additional content out to it. And we're getting a thing called Donkey Kong Bananza Emerald Rush, which is like an additional game mode on Donkey Kong's like Kong Island. And you have to collect like these emeralds and, you know, do this whole like extra set of challenges. Cool, great. It's not free, and the game's only been out for a couple of months. I don't like that. And I think that is a massive slap in the teeth for anyone who has supported this game and anyone who has, you know, been playing this game to then be asked to then spend an additional 20 quid to get this DLC. When the game is this young, it does really scream that this content was ripped from it to be put as DLC. I could be wrong, okay? But the pessimist in me, who's been around long enough to understand that that happens, kind of sees that as what has gone on here. Like, yes, we have had previous games. I get DLC. It has been 20 quid DLC. But it's never really been 3 months after the release date. That is just obscene. It is a slap in the teeth. It is just not nice. And that is another, like, down mark for this presentation and for Nintendo in general. Like, that's not cool. I've seen the true face of horror, and it is when a Ditto turns into a human being. That was probably the most terrifying thing that they have shown in a long time. It was for a Pokemon game that is basically a cutesy, like, life sim, like, island creator, really calm and really cozy. I might even look into this because it does look like a little bit of a chill game, all right? It's called Pokemon Pokopia. I'm really into the idea of it. As long as it doesn't go on like the usual Pokemon Company route of like just trying to get microtransactions everywhere from it and just trying to make everything like super rare all the time. As long as it makes it a fun game, I might actually invest in it because it does look like it could be really calming. And kind of like Animal Crossing, but I kind of have an affinity towards the characters that are in this already, whereas Animal Crossing for me is not a franchise that I have a huge like nostalgia for. This could be a bit of a laugh. Sitting forward again on this one. It's one thing to release DLC for a game a couple months after it comes out. It's another thing to announce paid DLC for a game before it comes out. And that's what they've done here with the Pokemon Legends ZA DLC. It is disgusting that Nintendo think they can keep getting away with doing this. And they will, because people will pay for it and people will do it. And like that's the problem that we're going to face, is that until people start not agreeing with this and start voting with their wallets, it's going to continue. I don't mind DLC. I'm not against additional content being added to a game. In fact, I encourage it because it means that that game's going to go on for a little bit longer. My problem is when a game gets announced and then there's DLC announced for it and that game's not even out yet. That's ridiculous. That's not cool. That's not fun. That's not fair. But then Nintendo's never really been about being fair, really, has it? And it's just another reminder that these companies are not your friends. They are companies. They are there to make money and you will pay them for these things. I know you will. Not you in particular, but we had a Danganronpa game get announced and I have no knowledge of these games. I think they have like quite a big following online, but for me, they're just not like a genre that I really care about. But it's coming towards the end of the Direct, so I kind of think it might have a bit more bigger impact than I'm giving on for it. But if you're a Danganronpa fan, then congratulations, I guess? Maybe? We had another Dynasty Warriors game, which is not a Hyrule Warriors game, but it's the Hyrule Warriors is based on a Dynasty Warriors game, so bit weird that now we have a Dynasty Warriors game coming after a Hyrule Warriors game in the presentation, which is all about Nintendo and Nintendo stuff, so I don't know. I'm not a fan of these games at all. Like I said previously, like the style doesn't really do it for me. I've never wanted to enjoy it. I've never have enjoyed it. We had a look at Monster Hunter Stories 3 as well. And again, if you've seen my previous videos, which I hope you have, you'll know that I do not like or care for Monster Hunter. So this is not a game that I'm going to be picking up. I know it's very different to the rest of the Monster Hunter series, with like the story stuff being more, well, story based. It just doesn't really appeal to me though. Like, I'm not a fan, I'm not interested. But if you are, then great, but it's just not something that I'm personally going to be investing any of my time into. And then we had the big reveal of Resident Evil 9 Requiem coming to the Switch 2, which is really cool because you consider like this is going to be coming out like on all the major platforms now. It's not going to be like way in the future that it comes out. We're also getting Resident Evil like 7 and 8, which again, like, it's nice that Capcom are pushing that content to the Switch 2. It's another market for them to tap into, for one. But if the Switch 2 can handle it, then great. They're probably going to be game key cards. But besides the point, it's great that they're coming. It's great that the console itself is getting that support. I'm all for that. And they then rounded off the presentation with Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. I don't like strategy RPG games. I've never really invested in Fire Emblem series, and I probably won't. So again, a bit of a miss for me. So yeah. So how was that direct overall? Well, initially I was pretty excited for it. Then as I've reflected on it, it was a bit meh. I mean, let's go back to the start and just think about what we had. The Mario Anniversary section to start off with. And cool. We're getting a Mario movie. Great. We all knew that was going to be happening at some point. We know it's Mario Galaxy themed. So yeah, that's nice. We got that to look forward to. We're then getting Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 for the Switch, which is great, but it's expensive as heck for what it is. It's ridiculously expensive. That's not cool. We're getting an update to Mario Wonder, which we've got to pay for, which, cool, but there's going to be no sort of like, as far as I can tell anyway, like way of just upscaling what I currently have without paying for this extra stuff. We're getting the Mario Tennis game. We're getting a Yoshi game. Nothing that really stands out as being like a big game though. And then some of the biggest reveals from the actual like main part of the presentation. With the Metroid Prime 4 release date, which was cool, but with some really rough gameplay. With that cool Pokemon Pokepia, whatever it's called, game. That looks fun. I'm here for that. We had Resident Evil 9 again, which is really cool to see. Although it does look a little bit ropey, it still looks like it's running really well. And all the Resident Evil games coming out as well, that's really cool. And then Fire Emblem at the end of it. There wasn't much in here that made me sit up and go, ooh, great, because everything that was good was kind of marred by the fact that they're paying for DLC for a game which is like 2 or 3 months old with Donkey Kong Bananza. And then also like announcing DLC for Pokemon Legends ZA before the game is announced. Those two things alone, like, are really bad marks on this presentation. It's a really weird point with Nintendo right now. They have got the ability to do something so good, and they seem to just be like fumbling the ball all the time. And I know I'm talking this from my own perspective, and your views may be very different, but that's why I made this YouTube channel, was to share my perspective. Because I know there are some people that agree with me, and I just hope that Nintendo doesn't forget the goodwill of their actual like fan base. People who stuck with them throughout the Wii and Wii U era in particular. We know what it's like to, you know, go through these rough spots. But I just hope that Nintendo doesn't turn this like really good opportunity they have into something where they get too greedy for their own good. Because people will start to stop buying it because it's not good. It is not a, like, paying for DLC is one thing. Paying for DLC 2 months after release is really bad. Paying for DLC before the game is announced is even worse. Not a fan of that. Stop doing it. But now I think about it, I really would like a new Extreme G game, please.